So here's the first one, and it's the most painful one for everybody. We're basically all going to move to the front. All in the front and nice and close together. We're going to start there, and I'm going to, right over here. Just move a few rows close. We want all of the front spots right up here filled. Come on. We want everybody up close, nice and comfortable, personal. All right, then keep on coming, keep on coming.
Pretty good yourself?
That's right. I really appreciate you guys moving. You're the best.
Okay. I'm not terribly familiar with the state. You'll have to help me out. Feel free to say no. Okay.
So, we're like we're the school district in the west part of it.
Okay.
All right, so here's the second kind of thing that we have to do before we get started. What I need you to do is just introduce yourself to your neighbor and give them like a high five or something. Just,
We know each other.
Hi, I'm Anthony Purcell.
Hi, Vanessa Bryant.
Nice to meet you. Hi, Anthony Purcell.
Trish Compton.
Sorry, I'm periscoping, so people around the world just met you.
all right. I didn't say tell your life story, just an introduction. All right, so today this is maybe a different session than something you've been in before. So let me just give you some ground rules. When you see something you like, you clap, or you say something. You get excited. If you see something that you don't like, you clap. Right? Did you clap at that? Come on. We're going to have a few people present today. I'll try to take us off and kind of set a little bit of the tone, and we'll have some guest speakers today, educators from around the state who are going to give some of their ideas that are going to hopefully ignite you. They are so gracious to be here. They basically got a call from me, or a tweet, that basically said, what if you had to present for 5 minutes on something that you are passionate about? And they were like, okay, I guess I'll do it. So they're here, they're taking a huge risk to present in front of their peers in this way. So just as this is going on, we just want you guys to kind of love on them and just be really receptive, and hopefully it'll inspire some really cool conversation. So without further ado, I'm going to hop into it, and from there we'll get the rules figured out. Whoops, that's not how you do it. I see what you did there. They're clapping for us. All right, everybody. My name is Levi Patrick. I'm the director for secondary mathematics at the State Department of Education here in Oklahoma. And my session today is called Strength in Numbers. My goal is to pass the vision for OK Math. And I want to tell you a little bit of a story about where we've come from in the last couple of years. In Oklahoma, we've done a lot to get people connected. In fact, we have over 4,100 math teachers connected in our various Facebook groups. And these include things for grade levels and topics. We have a website that we started, okmathteachers.com, has 117 posts, 117,000 views, and over 25,000 visitors. This is a site that is shared by math teachers for math teachers with all sorts of cool ideas. Just last semester, I traveled around the state and met with over 1,200 math teachers at conferences. We have some amazing things going on, and teachers who are getting connected and learning together. And clearly you're here, but we want to do more. Let me tell you one of the ways that we're getting organized. We have 3 existing math consortia. I make a big deal about it all the time because I think it's amazing. We have a central one, a northeastern one that's new this year, a southeastern one that's new this year. And folks, we need Western representation. We have people who are interested in that now. We want you to sign up. We also have a group of leaders that we are working with every year. Now we have 35 math leaders in our state who have graduated our program, and they are now starting an alumni association. These are some of the very best, and you're the best, and we'd love for you to be a part of that. To become stronger, we have to be intentional. So I wanted to talk about some of the ways that I think that we can grow together, strengthen together to ensure success for all students. The first step is that we have to realize that we aren't weak. This seems simple, but this is something that we have to tell ourselves and realize. You are the experts, we are the experts, and together we can be advocates for our profession and stewards of our profession. I'm going to go a little bit into that in a moment. When we realize we're not weak, we realize that we can take risks. Taking risks is something that we have to do to grow. And I think you all know this, but failure gets undue attention. When people say the things that they regret in life, they rarely say that they regret the things they did, they regret the things they didn't do. We have to tell our stories. If we are going to strengthen, we have to become expert storytellers, and I think you'll hear a lot more about that today. The good things you do, the things that you struggle with, all of that needs to be shared. That's how we're going to grow together. And as you are developing yourselves as advocates, you have to make sure that your voice is heard. This happens in a lot of ways, but right now we have new draft standards that we need your voice on. This is your responsibility to make sure that these are amazing. Not only do teachers have a responsibility to collaborate with each other on their own, but you have to make sure that the people around you who are making decisions about your space and time for collaboration know that it is a necessary part of your day. If they don't know that, you have to make it abundantly clear. I don't know what that's supposed to say, but it says pursue excellence. There's some other really good stuff below that, I think, but guys, you have to not be satisfied. It doesn't mean that you can't be proud of what you've accomplished, but you can't be satisfied. You know that you can grow, and we have to be really aware of that. I have been claiming for a long time that the thing that we could do the best to get us the farthest is to dream big. I told my students this. We dreamed about what it would look like when they were graduates, citizens, whatever that may be. I think that if we do these things and we are strong, we will have teachers across our state who are supported. And I say this all the time, but I think we need a system that ensures that every single teacher is more likely than not to succeed. And with that kind of system, we will make sure that every student is more likely than not to also succeed, that they will overcome the challenges in their life. And you've heard, how do you lead an elephant? That's wrong. Maybe it is, but I think that if the entire state of math teachers took one bite at a time, we'd have this puppy consumed in a day. Right? I think that we can do that together. So here's how the day works. Every person that's presenting gets 20 slides. Each slide has 15 seconds per slide, and it auto-advances. The goal, share ideas, discuss, and ignite. We have a few wonderful speakers that I mentioned already. Anthony Purcell, formerly at Kansas, then Eden, now in Stillwater. Telannia Norfar in Oklahoma City at the high school. We'll talk about some amazing things. Jeff Lake from Osage County and Shawn Sheehan announced today as one of our state Teacher of the Year finalists from Norman. These are the people who are going to help us get ignited. I hope that you enjoyed the day. And without any further ado, for the next 3 minutes while we're making our transition, it's your job to talk to your neighbor about how excited you are about what's happening right now.
I'm Anthony Purcell. As he said, I am going to be starting in Stillwater this next year. And my talk today is about stopping the tricking of students, of helping them just to get through the math, but to actually start understanding. When we look at teaching the students the ideas, I think so many of us have been focused on getting them through the year to take that test at the end, that they're not getting the full understanding that they need. So the tricking that we've been doing only helps them at that moment. One of the big ones that I see is the keep change opposite. All that does is just confuse them. They might get it right now, but in a year they don't understand it. We need to be using the number line to help them understand that when you're adding a negative, it's actually doing the opposite of going to subtracting. When we're looking at trying to solve large problems, get rid of PEMDAS because they get confused. I've got to multiply before I divide. No, it's the same thing. So looking at GMA, multiplication, division is the same. Adding, subtracting is the same. But along with these tricks is is the mathematical terms. We need to get away from those easy words that kids seem to understand more and go to the mathematical. Another trick is when we're looking at the distance formula. It's really just Pythagorean theorem. I took a test. I could not remember the distance formula. I just did Pythagorean theorem, and you know what? I passed the test. M and B, those are just letters. We need to stop saying, hey, what's B? No, we need to tell them what is the y-intercept. We need to be using that mathematical terms so that they understand it more. When teachers have the understanding of the content, the students start to have that understanding as well. It just goes to them. And so make sure you understand what you're talking about, and a lot of that is that vocabulary. When we're looking at the imprecise language, opposites, what are opposites? We need to be saying inverse. Multiplication and division are not opposites, they're inverses. When we're looking at reducing, that means you're making a fraction smaller? No, you're actually just making the numbers smaller. It's not, there's some confusion in that. Get rid of those baby words or those easy words because, well, the kids understand that word. Okay, they'll also understand the math term that you're actually supposed to be using if you use it. What is a big angle? I don't know, I have two different angles there. Which one's big? One's obtuse. So when you're working with your elementary kids, you need to use that word obtuse. It's not big because reflex is even larger. You're not borrowing. One of the things I've heard before is that some students go, okay, if I borrow, when do I give it back? In subtraction, if you just say borrow, you're not giving it back. And that is confusing kids because they know that if they borrow something, they've got to give it back. Math vocabulary is that understanding. Use those mathematical words. Don't baby it for the kids. Taking a look at this next slide. If you go to another country and you see this math problem, if you know your mathematical terms, you could probably figure out how to solve this. Think of all your ELL students who are coming here. They don't know these baby words, but they know the math words. Did you notice these words in there? Can you start to figure out what that problem is? If you use those math terms, your students who are coming to the United States trying to learn the English language, it helps them out. So now you can see how these two languages work together. Using those math terms, you can now solve that problem even if you didn't know the language. Along with Common Core, one of the mathematical practices is attending to precision. That precision is the vocabulary. And I know that we are not a Common Core state, and we're working on new standards. With the new standards, we actually have something that we're looking at, and it is to develop the ability to communicate mathematically. You have to use those math words so that we can communicate. Without them, we're losing that communication, and it is not good at all. We communicate about all sorts of things, like our pets. You know how to communicate, to share about your pet, so make sure you know how to communicate about math so that kids start to understand even more and to use those words as well. So, that's what I have to say. Stop tricking the students.
You guys can hear me? Perfect. I won't have to change the microphone. So let me start. My name is Telannia Norfar. I teach at Northwest Classic High School, and I'm here to talk to you about implementing project-based learning in your classroom. Really my journey about it. And what really happened about 10, almost 11 years ago, is I realized kids really don't do this. They don't run in my class and say, yes, make your equations, Miss Norfar, I'm ready, I'm down. Said, no kid ever. So, even then, 11 years ago, when I was introduced to the idea of project-based learning at the school I was, I realized, like Dan Meyer, that the math classroom needs a makeover. That we need to think about math in an authentic way and having kids really do recognize and say, yes, I really do want to learn this. And so what I ended up doing is running into BIE and learning about their 8 essential elements to design project-based learning. And so what I'm about to do is really tell you about the elements, give you some things that I did in my classroom that are project-based learning, and then thank you for your time. So the biggest element is standards, but don't think of standards, think of big ideas. Unfortunately, in mathematics, like me, like you probably really learn the procedures and not what is the big idea. So it's not really just about solving equations as much as it's about getting them to understand equality. And then it's also not just about them getting the math, but getting these other skills too. So the concepts go along with the 21st century competencies. I want them to think critically. I want them to communicate. I want them to collaborate and be creative in math. And that leads to authentic work, which is one of the elements that works tightly with the standards. And when you think of an authentic situation for that content to live in, then it creates this challenging problem or situation or question that can guide the work. And so you as a teacher can help guide it by being able to get to the math content, but the kids actually start to care. I always say you gotta capture a kid's heart before you ask their head to follow. So, so the challenging problem or question is the start for them. And that question continues to be more questions. It continues to be more answers, but then leads to more questions. And that idea of the questions being generated by them produces a voice and choice in them that allows them to have their own color stand out. Now, this is not meaning that I just relinquish my classroom to 9th graders, but what it means is that they have a mind and I use it, and they have a voice and I've been able to have them say it. But the coolest part is the critique and the revision of the element. It's the ability for kids to realize that it's not just about doing it once, it's about doing it well. And so they, myself, experts, all join in and critique and revise, and in that process, we're also getting meta, or as my students say, reflecting on our learning and on our way of learning. But the biggest part of it all is that it becomes public. They don't just do this for me, they do it for a bigger audience. That's hence why it's authentic. And so they actually present to the outside world. So now I'm going to switch and kind of give you an idea of how these 8 elements have shown up in my various math classrooms. I've taught algebra, geometry, algebra 2, pre-calculus, pick a subject and I've done it. So in algebra 1, one of my biggest projects is called the cell phone project. Here you see some of my kids a few years ago working to help parents know how to pick the best cell phone plan. Now, did they know they were learning linear equations at first? Absolutely not. Do they even know that they learned step equations? They still don't. But they and international finance was another one I did. This is actually a student talking with a student in Australia. We switched classrooms. Kids in Australia moved kids to Oklahoma City, and we moved Oklahoma City to Australia. And then that also led to our cafeteria being redesigned. And so we, as a 4-group team, redesigned our school cafeteria and took surveys and experiments to fix that. The Comfy project was redesigning a home for a 4-person family, and that was one of the students' presentation to the family, one that was actually in the consideration of the running. The popcorn project is a redesign of a popcorn container from Cinemark theaters that my kids go to frequently. They didn't know that the project wasn't real, but they, as far as they knew, we were redesigning Cinemark's containers. And then in Algebra 2, my students helped this family plan for college for their son, who was 2 at the time. And then in the process learned about exponential and logarithmic equations. So after I do a lot of this, a lot of times people are like, well, you know, how can I find out more? So here's my contact info. If you want to email me or tweet me or Facebook me or whatever. And you also can fill out that link. It's just SL, Student Centered Learning Training. So that's my talk.
Thank you all. I never get nervous presenting, hardly, but this, wow.
It's completely different.
Okay, I'm here to talk to you about the Osage County Interlocal Cooperative. Imagine if every teacher in the state of Oklahoma had someone helping them to excel. Well, we can't do it in Osage County for every teacher in Oklahoma, but we think we have a solution for 12 rural districts in our area. Kind of the history of the OCIC is that it was started in the early 1980s as a special education cooperative. And after that time, it operated within the school districts in Osage County, but then it expanded to other school districts as superintendents moved on, and it actually, through legislation, became its own LEA. So we're our own LEA. Kind of our goal is to help teachers excel. Do whatever we can in very small schools who cannot afford to have curriculum specialists, cannot afford to have instructional coaches, but help them excel by combining money that they do have to make that happen. Here's some ways we do that. We have a professional development consortium, and we once a year do a Teachers Teaching Teachers conference. And this last year we had over 150 teachers attend this conference with over 40 sessions on that day. And these are PE teachers learning how to do math interventions during PE. And so that was awesome. My favorite session was absolutely awesome. I go out and offer actually some instructional coaching in math because I'm a former math teacher. When an administrator has a new teacher, they may request for me to come out and work with that new teacher. So I will do that weekly or however often the teacher needs support. We'll work one-on-one to design lessons. We may do book studies as we have done in some of the districts. I'll meet with the teachers every other week. We'll read some research-based best practice books and talk about them. We also have done several workshops in our consortium where we bring people into the co-op and then they can come and participate in a workshop. And I'm hoping to do some Google Hangouts through that very soon as well, so that they don't have to come to the co-op. We also have some math and science partnership, MSP grants. We've been very fortunate with those. That has provided teachers in our consortium to get together and work together where they may never see each other, because many of these teachers are the only math teacher in their entire district, K through 12. We also have some other projects, like Project Aware is working through the Otis framework of the State Department to implement RTI with our teachers. We're working very strongly to implement universal screeners of progress monitoring in mathematics, because our schools are very focused on reading, but haven't been really focused on math and targeting those math students. So that's what we're working on there. We also have several collaborative partnerships, such as with the Tulsa Regional STEM Alliance. The OCIC is a member of it, and it provides our teachers and students tons of opportunities to participate in things in Tulsa in that area. We also have collaborative resources that our teachers have created. On our website, you can find some books that they've written on math and science content that are available for you to download using your classroom. They've also done iMovie trailers that you also can look at and use to introduce a topic, kind of to grab those students and engage them in the math and science content. We also have a professional development library where they can come and check out materials to do their own PD to practice doing different math and science lessons. We have engineering kits that we have been able to purchase that they can check out as well. It is amazing how quickly 15 seconds goes. We also, a lot of our very small districts can't offer advanced coursework for 7th and 8th graders who are ready to take Algebra 1 and Geometry. So we provide them an online alternative. We actually can hire a teacher of record if they don't have a teacher for that content area and provide those opportunities for those students. We also provide special education support. And I had a really long narrative there, but I know if I started that 15 seconds is going to go. We also do parent education. So we provide a parent educator to go into homes and start talking to parents about early math skills, giving the students just some developmental assessments and let the parents know what can you do at home with these babies and with these toddlers to help them start learning these early math skills. We also we have a high Indian population in Osage County, so we have a Title VII program where we work with Indian students to help them excel in math. And that was the quickest 5 minutes in the world. If you want more information, you can follow us on Twitter or Facebook. Also, that QR code will just take you to our website, and you can go there and get information as well. So thank you very much.
And a round of applause.
All right, my name is Shawn Sheehan. I'm a specialized education math teacher at Norman High School. I'm also a proud graduate from the OK Math alumni group. And today I'm going to be talking to you about Teach Like Me. Okay, so since we're on a time crunch, quick question. Why do you teach?
Why do I? I don't know. Because I love math.
Okay, because you love it. Very good, very good. So let me reframe that question. why do you teach math?
Because it's the subject, the only subject that matters.
I would say for my English teaching wife, but okay, so why do you teach math when you could do so many other things like being a genius, get more money? Why are you doing this?
Absolutely. I wanted people to be able to give me back change. Correct.
Okay, so I asked this question a lot with the Teach Like Me campaign, and I almost never hear about the quantitative stuff. They don't care about report cards and numbers, which is weird because we're math teachers. We care about the art form, and so what I want to try to convey to you all today is that the art form creates the data and not the other way around. So my question is, how do we spark an education renaissance? That's what we desperately need in this state.
Yeah.
So I think what we have to do, where we have to start, is we have to be better at selling our profession. And what happened was 2 years ago, I overheard a colleague discourage your own children from being teachers. I'm like, what the heck kind of sale is that for the work that I love and I'm dedicating my life to? We've got to change that. It starts with us. So what I want to get you all to do is find your place in educational activism. It's got an asterisk next to it because activism is politically charged. And I want to assure you that that's not really where I'm trying to go. I'm trying to help you find a way to lead from the classroom without leaving the classroom. So, so I want to show you, I think a video is next. That's extra long. I don't know why that's extra. So I created the Teach Like Me campaign. And what the campaign is my effort to improve teacher recruitment and retention by redefining public perceptions of our profession. That's my 8-second elevator pitch. Now,
listen, I'm so excited to have you all in my class this year so that I can share with you my favorite thing in the entire world, which is math. Now, I see some of you all rolling your eyes, and that's okay, but I'd like for you to do something for me. Think about what you want to do with your life, and picture yourself in the future. Are you a doctor, a lawyer, a scientist, an athlete, a singer, or even the president? It's my goal this year to convince you that whatever you want to do, and whoever you want to be, the skills you learn in this class will help you get there, and they'll help you be successful when you get there. Will help you, the skills you learn in this class help.
It says, teach like the room is empty, teach like me. So this is one of the many videos that I've made with some friends, and we're just trying to showcase the things that people don't really think about when they think of teaching. So what you're looking at is a picture of Norman High teachers at the 2nd annual Teach Like Me Day, which is held every year on National Teacher Appreciation Day. That's the uniform. We have a Teach Like Me t-shirt. And so on that day, kids were looking at it and they were like, Teach Like, what does that mean? Like, I thought you guys didn't like your job. You do. And it's about leading from the classroom. And so another thing that we did was we flipped our classroom for Algebra 1. And I think probably half of you kind of know what that is. It's where the lesson is, we film it, and that's their homework, and then the next day we come in and talk about it, and we get to work on that more in depth. And the result has been tremendous. We have higher test scores for our kids on IEPs across the board, and it's really helped us just kind of fine-tune our teaching and get better at what we're doing and making more use of the classroom time. So what I want to point out with you is with the flipped classroom, with Teach Like Me, this did not require anyone's approval. It didn't require anybody to sign off on it, anyone to nod at me or say yes or validate my work. I had these ideas and I took it and ran with it. And there's no magic wand that I have. So we can start an education renaissance. But it starts with a choice. It starts with a choice to be more positive about our work. And it starts by us leading from the classroom. So please check out teachlikeme.org. That's the website. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. There's lots of big things coming. So appreciate your time.